Good morning and welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report. My name is John, and I'm coming to you today to talk about a few things that are going on in and around the nation today, starting with the DNC third day going on. I guess that Tim Coach Walz last night tried to make a case for why he is the greatest pick in the world for Kamala Harris. And he was bolstered by not only Bill Clinton, but also Oprah Winfrey and, several celebrities that are, all thrilled to the bone to have this convention going on and introduce these interesting people to you. People that were so interesting to not be part of the Democratic National Convention, and is on a bus tour, and she will glean to show up tonight for her acceptance speech, and we're just thrilled about that. So Clinton was Clinton last night. They put up their two best spokesmen that they had, Obama and Clinton, to try to bolster this ticket that's going on. But there's a lot for them to overcome, as well as on the Republican side as well. The talk of the JFK joining forces or backing or endorsing Donald Trump is in the wind. We don't know where that's going or what will come of that, but I expect we'll hear more as days go by between now and the end of this week. So the stock market is holding its own, it looks like. The economy is stalled. Prices are through the roof on most things, and you'll see that quickly here. Just look at the price of chopped meat right now as opposed to several years ago. It's not getting any lower, and it's not price gouging on the part of the food stores because they work at very small margins, like 1% margins, and we know that now because we've been told that by most of the grocery stores. And the middleman in this thing is the transportation, and therein lies a cost of goods rise in itself because of the price of diesel fuel to get it to market. And that is plain and simple, and no matter what the Democrats or the Republicans say, you can't change that until the price of fuel comes down and the surcharges come off. So that is looming still. The revision of the jobs numbers came out or were leaked out yesterday. It looks like they're 800 and some odd thousand off to what they estimated to bolster their campaign, and it's leaked out now that that it's almost $1 million or 1 million jobs deficit there. So you have to be interested in what's going on with the stock market and pricing and things of that nature, because when they give you a number out of the government, it's usually rescinded and changed and redacted later on, usually a month or two ahead or behind the original numbers. And these numbers are put out to make you feel better about the environment that we have to live in and the cost of goods that we have to live with right now due to inflation. And inflation has been emboldened by this last administration, the Biden-Harris administration. And as much as she would like to separate herself from Biden, she can't, because she was part and parcel to every decision that was made in the Biden White House. And there it is, folks. It's not a good picture, and the policies that she has intimated that she would like to implement will make it worse than it is now, hands down. And not only that, she has no way to tell you how she will implement these things, and to put a 28% tax onto the corporate businesses that are keeping people employed will backfire. It will cause more layoffs. It will cause shutdowns and companies to move from the United States to a more tax-friendly environment.
Let me think about that.
You cannot tax the hell out of the working population and the corporations in this United States to pay for your mistakes. Where are your mistakes? Start with the Ukraine and go from there. We have to pay back the money we printed to increase the deficit in the United States, and we need to work toward a balanced budget like some states have to do. The government should have to do much of the same. The lying that is going on between these parties is ridiculous. Tell us your policies, tell us your fixes, and tell us how you will implement them. Let all the rhetoric fall to the side and get to substance. That's what we want to hear from you candidates. Get that and get it in writing so we can know what your intentions are and how you will implement those intentions.
Yeah.
Giving $25,000 to first-time home buyers is not a solution to anything but more and more debt that will be put on the people that are buying that home, because the interest rates are not friendly to home buyers right now. We all know that, we all see that, and we all know how they got to that point and where the inflation came from. It was out of control spending by our government that does these things, and a Congress that sits there and says, okay, and a Senate that says, well, if it benefits the left, we'll do it. But if it does not, we'll table that. That's what Mr. Schumer does. There are programs on his desk that he refuses to bring before the Senate that have passed through the House already. But he decides what you're going to get as far as laws passed and not. This is why these people have to be cut from the cloth of government. They spend like drunken sailors for everything under the sun but what we need, what our poor communities need, what our veterans that are sleeping in the streets in tents, what they need. Why is the suicide rate so high among veterans? Ask yourself these questions. Who put them there? Who withdrew from Afghanistan and left behind 13 dead servicemen and a multitude of people that were our allies in that policing situation we were in? Not to mention the Taliban having a parade to show off the billions of dollars of equipment that we left behind for them to use in terror attempts around the world, not just Afghanistan. ISIS again has a foothold in the Middle East. Al-Qaeda is making a comeback. These are things that we need to be concerned about, not somebody being called a name, or not somebody getting up and saying, I'm this great coach that you needed me because you can't get to swing states without someone like me. Look what he did in the past, look at his record, and then understand why he should not be standing on that stage accepting anything.
Point it out, point it out.
The lies have been published. I don't need to reiterate to you all that he has done in the past, but I will tell you this. He is very friendly to Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and the proof is right there on film of letting them burn his city and put people out of business during the riots that took place there after the George Floyd incident.
Oh, snap.
This is historical. This is published. This is on film. And then who, when they did arrest some of the perpetrators in this, who shows up to give them bail money and get them out without charges? Kamala Harris.
Are you kidding me?
I don't have to make this stuff up. It's there. It's right there in front of your eyes to see. And we need to start to look more closely at what they are saying, because they're telling you lies with a little bit of truth in them. And the truth section is you're screwed. The other guy on the other end needs to learn how to be a little bit more quiet. Tell us your policies. Tell us your fixes for the policies. Tell us your implementation timing. But don't keep going on and on and on. When you call into a TV show like you did this morning, you need to say a little less and be more substance. I know you like to take credit for your accomplishments, and that is a mark of someone who is very successful, and I understand that. I also understand the name calling because I grew up in Bel Air, Queens, which is very close to where he comes from, and people were that way. Especially the more successful, the more educated people tended to have names for everybody. I had a grandmother that had a name for everybody that walked down the sidewalk before in front of her house. And she would sit with an Irish whisper in that solarium in the front porch and say it out loud. No one got offended. It was quite amusing and funny. If you had a sense of humor, it was funny. But she was one of a kind. But there are a lot like her and Donald Trump that come from that area where we weren't so thin-skinned. We had, the Irish neighborhood, we had the Italian neighborhood, and we had the Polish neighborhood. And everyone got along. We all had names for each other, and no one got offended. And you had to be a little on the tough side to survive. Because if you were a sissy or a soy boy, you weren't going to get very far. We all have to learn that sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And as far as getting even and retaliation, with they're all, Clinton's out saying he's up for, retaliation for this, that, and the other thing. If that were true about Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton would have been jailed a long time ago. And he says that. He's not going to have time, if elected, to be going after these people. Will he go into the swamp and fire the people that are sitting at the head table of the three-letter agencies that are corrupt because of their direction? Absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly. That's not retaliation. That's cleaning up the mess in aisle 4. Or the third term of Barack Obama. That's the mess that we're dealing with right now. It started with him. It got interrupted by Trump, which is why they hate him. Why you hate him is because the media is driving the fact that you need to hate him. And it's not true. Mainstream media has done more in election interference in the last 2 elections than you can shake a stick at. Social media, such as platforms like Facebook and Instagram and things that are run. It was also Twitter, but that's changed somewhat now since Elon bought that out. But these people are dead set on making you believe that Donald Trump is something he's not. I've told you this before. I had the pleasure of meeting him during the Wallman skating ring demolition. And I think he was a wonderful, kind man. And I saw him be kind to construction workers, male and female, the operating engineers that I knew that had to deal with him didn't have much to say that was terribly bad about him. Is he a strong businessman? Is he hard-willed? Yes. But you don't get to where he is by not being that way. And for his opposition to come out now and say that because he has millions of dollars and homes here and homes there and golf courses here, let's take a quick look at Barack Obama. A mansion in the Hamptons. A mansion in Washington, D.C. A home in Hawaii. And a compound on an island that we all know when they sent migrants to that island, how long did they last? 24 hours? Another mansion. Let's look at Bernie Sanders. Never worked a day in his life. And for that matter, probably Obama never did either. He has 3 homes, 2 vacation homes, ski lodges. Look at these people that are pointing a finger at someone because they've been successful in their life. And for Michelle Obama to come out and say that he's jealous because that she and Barack are black and did well, that he doesn't like that, or he's jealous of that, come on. We all know that anybody that goes into politics today with $10 in the bank will very soon turn that $10 into $10 million. Maybe it's disguised as money paid up front to write a book. Maybe it just comes full circle out of the Ukraine. We don't know, but we know now that Hunter Joe and his brother did very well out of the Ukraine, out of Belarus, out of China, out of Russia. And they want to point fingers now at the guy that went out and built a city and earned every dollar he made. What the ridiculousness of it is this man only scant weeks ago took a bullet from an assassin's gun. That's how bad the media has whipped up the weak minds in this country to think. And he had help. Make no mistake about that. He had help. There is no doubt. Well, God bless him. I do hope that RFK Jr. Can work things out and be part of the forward process between now and November 6th. But don't forget the fact that we have a president right now that's among the missing or on vacation. And we have a sitting vice president that is promising on day one, I'm going to implement these 10 items, but I can't tell you how I'm going to do it unless you elect me. That's Nancy Pelosi all over again with the Obamacare Act. And one more thing I want to tell you, and then I'll get off the political bandwagon here, is that they keep saying that Donald Trump talked everybody out of the border fix that they had. If you remember back, let me refresh your memory about that item that went through the House and the Senate that was so full of pork that anyone in their right mind could not go along with that. And part of that pork, if you forgot already, because the mainstream media just wipes that stuff away, is there was $80 billion in there for Zelensky. One of the main reasons that bill did not pass. Had nothing to do with controlling the border. Their idea of controlling the border is cutting it back to $2,500 a day coming across the bridge and getting asylum. Not to mention the other 2,500 people that are sneaking around the sides to get in. And now, if you use the app that this government has provided people all over the world and want to come, you can book an airline to come into the city of your choice. That's the Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen, and kids of all ages. You can't make these things up. Do we have better choices out there than the two candidates we're faced with? Absolutely. Were they picked? No. But we do have one that has a track record. Actually, we have both of these candidates with track records. One accomplished, and one we can't put a finger on anything she's done. End of story.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Today. This is the last day of this convention, and I'm sure that when she blows into town, when she deems it okay now to show up at the Democratic National Convention, she'll be there to accept the nomination. Which puzzles me, because why would they nominate a VP before they nominated the candidate for president? Isn't that backwards? But Walz had his night last night. Enough. So, prices are up. They're talking about rate cuts come September for interest rates. If the Fed does that, we may get some easing. But the panel of experts that I listen to and read are indicating that could not be very helpful right now unless they go from the 25 they're talking about to 50 basis points, which just means people will borrow more. Credit card debt right now is at an all-time high. Fraud and banking fraud is at an all-time high. The criminals that are doing these cyber attacks and garnering your personal identification is at an all-time high. These are things the Justice Department don't look into because they're very busy trying to figure out what to get Donald Trump for next, instead of worrying about the crime that is taking place. The cyber crime is at an all-time bust right now. I mean, they're just into everybody's stuff. We need to make sure that we have a strong cyber shield of some sort set up. If you don't have a VPN on your telephones or your iPads or your computer, you're very high risk to get hit. So protect yourself. Get a VPN. There's several companies you can get them through. There's Nord. There's a lot of them. Research it. Go online. Look at VPNs. Decide what's best for you and get it. Because you're going to have to lock up your information right now. They can stand behind you right now in a grocery store and read your phone with the equipment and the technology they have to do this. If you have a VPN, it will block that. There are several to choose from. The other thing in preparedness, and I tell you this day after day, be prepared with water and foodstuffs to last you a couple of months, just in case the grid goes down or something major happens, or we get hacked again, like what happened with this cloud stuff that happened with Microsoft. It's up there in the cloud. You got to protect yourself and you got to prepare. If you don't know how to can goods or can meats, there are programs right here on YouTube. Appalachian Homestead. Patera has all kinds of films of how to can, how to take care of your foodstuffs and make it last through several months or through the winter so you have healthy, nourishing food on hand. And there's 15 different websites that you can learn everything from picking the right mushrooms to canning goods or pre-cooking vegetables to put up. Fruits. We're coming into apple season. Train yourself if you don't know. There are program after program here that can tell you how to do it. But be prepared and make sure if you have a slingshot, you have plenty of marbles as well, if you know what I mean. And with that, it's Thursday. We're about to embark on a new weekend. Hopefully, weather permitting, we'll be out and about. Kaiser and I will be out with the camera somewhere, hopefully for some good onion rings or maybe a milkshake someplace, but we'll find a place to go and get some film in a small town, Appalachia. And, well, folks, we truly are in Batman's Gotham. When you stop and think about the characters that keep reappearing in places like the DNC convention, in the RNC conventions, and places like that, these are the characters right out of a Batman miniseries. You have the villains, and you have the villains that gather all the crowds of people to work with them to destroy a city. But they're always defeated because Batman comes along with his sidekick Robin and fixes things until the next episode where they all reappear again with the same story. More power, take over the city, do this, and we're going to provide multitudes of money for us and nothing for you. This is what we're looking at these days in our own Gotham world. I don't have to tell you who some of these characters are. You already know. And if we don't get on our knees and pray for something different to happen, it will continue to be Gotham. And we all need to be worried about our safety, our security, and our pursuit of happiness. Because there's only one side that will be happy, and that's the people in power, the elites of both parties that want your vote to stay in control while doing nothing to make your life any better. And that's it. From East Tennessee, we wish you all a happy Thursday. Make sure you pray for your country, pray for your leaders, pray for your enemies, and keep your enemies close so you know what's going on. Do not ever rely on mainstream media to tell you the truth about pretty much anything or what's going on beyond our broken border, because other countries, especially in Europe right now, are in crisis. And they're in crisis due to immigration problems and the Islamification of European cities that their residents are angry about. So it's not heard of on mainstream media here because they don't like to talk about what the truth is anywhere. They don't want you to think beyond your scope of understanding because they're so much smarter than you, these actors that are reading off a teleprompter to you every day. And Joe Scarborough is probably one of the worst of them. But if you're relying on mainstream media, find another avenue and get the other side. Listen to both sides tell you what they want to tell you, and you disseminate what you think is important to you, and write your senators, write your congresspeople, and let them know what your thoughts are. Phone them up. They work for you. They forgot that in most cases. And with angry people on social media tell you that you're wrong because of the way you think, whether you're thinking left or thinking right or whatever, ignore them. Wish them well, and don't engage in arguments with what you're going to find out to be a bot or a paid person sitting in Brooklyn, paid by Hillary Clinton to tell you misinformation about one candidate or another. That's what's going on social media. So, we have to pray every day for help from above, because we're certainly in a little bit of a pickle here, but it's going to be a good day in November. I'm sure we will all make the right decisions. God bless you all. Have a great rest of the Thursday. And from the Kaiser Report, Kaiser and I say, we'll see you here tomorrow morning for the Friday Kaiser Report. And God bless you. Bye-bye now.